everyone. Hello. Welcome. Welcome to this session. Can everybody hear us? Hear me well? I guess there are a few ways we can do this. We can either use the chat function to sort of communicate with all of us, or if you wish so, you can unmute yourself to interact with us. We are real humans, in case you're wondering, located at different areas in NTU campus. My name is Eileen. Technically, I'm supposed to be the most senior over here, so I'm supposed to host this session. So I think we'll give a few minutes, wait for a few more folks to turn up. And in the meantime, if you have any questions that you already have in mind, please feel free to use the chat function to type your questions so that we can sort of discuss them during this session. Okay, so we'll just wait a couple more minutes. And I see no activity in the chat function, so I'm a little bit nervous. So if you guys have any questions, you can always use the chat function to type your questions, or if not, then you can always unmute yourself. So we are going to start later by giving a quick introduction to all of the students that we have in the panel discussion. And the overall objective of this session really is to try to clarify any questions that all of you may have. I'm sure all of you are sort of at the crossroads deciding which course to take, whether should I take engineering, also, which engineering program should I take? Should I take it with a minor? Should I take it with a major? And then if that's so, what major, what minor? How should I go about my choices? So I guess in a nutshell, that is what we hope to be able to share with our student panel over here. And I guess it's already 5:01. So maybe we should just start. Okay, good. We have questions, so just keep them rolling. Interesting questions. All of us are real humans, if you're wondering. So we are not like chat bots or something. We are made of real flesh and blood. So in any case, we are here today to help clarify any doubts that you guys may have. Obviously, the upcoming virtual open house is going to be quite an exciting platform.
Okay, it's okay. You can join now. No problem. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Bye.
That is Shirley, also from College of Engineering. I believe one of our panel members is appearing at right about soon. So we'll just wait for him to appear. More questions, please feel free to use the chat function. The chat function is free, so don't be afraid to use it. Nobody knows who you are, okay? So don't be shy. Hey, is Devin coming? Or should we continue without him? Shirley?
You can start first, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so all right, so let's start. Maybe I give a self-introduction first, just because I'm talking the most. I suppose you should know who I am. My name is Eileen. I'm a senior lecturer from School of Material Science and Engineering. I'm also the assistant dean for students handling admissions and outreach. So today it is my pleasure to have with me 6 student ambassadors from the College of Engineering. And later on, I'll leave them to do a quick introduction of themselves. But just a quick history about me. I was also a student many years ago in NTU, also from School of Material Science and Engineering. So I came from Nanyang Junior College back in the day, very different than how is it now. And so when I was deciding which course to choose at that point, I attended a workshop that was hosted by School of Material Science and Engineering. And actually through that workshop, I got to know quite a bit about some of the cool equipment that they use to characterize materials. So naively, at age of 19, I decided to choose material science and engineering. And after finishing my degrees, I came back to School of Material Science and Engineering again. So you can say that I've actually never left NTU very much. And I foresee maybe in the next 10 years or so, I'll still be here. So I don't know, this would be the first job, last job kind of a thing. And I'm obviously very rare as a female to be in engineering. That being so, I think nowadays it is increasingly common to get females in engineering. As you can see, our panel members, half of them are female, so don't mess with girls. I think enough talking about me. So I'll now let the student panel introduce themselves. So let's start off with Jia Ying from SCSE.
Yeah, hi, I'm Jia from Computer Science. This is my 4th year in NTU. So I was from Jurong Junior College. We already merged with Pioneer. Yep, this is it for me.
Next person. Stella. We'll let the girls go first.
Oh, okay. So hi everyone, I'm Stella. I'm currently in electrical and electronic engineering with a second major in business. So yeah, I do see some double degree, double major questions. We can answer it later. Yeah, I'm in my 4th year and I was from Nanyang Junior College as well.
Yay! Okay, from CEE.
Hi everyone, my name is Kylie. I am from civil engineering. And fun fact, I was from the same school as Jia Ying. So I was from Jurong Junior College, and we are actually from the same CCA. Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually currently in my internship office in my 3rd year. So if there's anyone interested in the built environment, do ask me questions in the chat box. Yep.
Or maybe you can share with us which company are you working in right now?
Oh, it's a small local company that we mainly focus on steel structures.
Okay,
and
okay.
consultancy as well. Yep.
Okay. So then back to the guys then. Jeremy?
Yeah, hi, my name is Jeremy. I'm currently in my 3rd year taking MSc Economics. So I'm a double degree student, so I can answer some of the questions later on also. My JC was Anderson Junior College. I think now you all know me as like Anderson Serangoon or JC or something, right? Right, I think so. Yeah, okay, that's it for me.
Okay, Yasin?
You can hear, right? Or is it still soft?
Okay.
Okay. My name is Yao Xuan. I'm a year 4 student studying aerospace engineering. Yeah, I'm from Tampines Junior College.
So I guess a lot of you may have burning questions about the aviation industry. So later Yao Xian can take some of these questions for those of you who are interested in aerospace, degree programs. So last but not least, we have Devin, who finally appeared.
Hi everyone, I'm Devin. I'm in my final year. I'm from bioengineering and second major in pharmaceutical engineering. I'm from Anglo Chinese Junior College.
Okay, so welcome the student panel, and obviously welcome to all of you who are joining us from wherever you are. So like I said, our purpose for today is really to help answer some of the questions that you guys might have. And I'm sure all of you are curious and therefore attending this session as to whether engineering is for me, whether which program should I choose, what is the difference between this program versus that program. And obviously nowadays we have a lot of different choices. Should I take a minor? Should I take a major? How about double degree? Is it very stressful? So I see a lot of questions there about sleeping and working really hard. So keep those questions coming. Use the chat function if you would like to post your questions. If not, then you can always unmute yourself to ask those questions. So maybe let's get started with the number one question that everybody has is burning in their minds is it a lot of work being an engineer? Okay, and do you need to sacrifice sleep, work-life balance? Do you need to sacrifice, having no time for hobbies, girlfriend, boyfriend, that sort of thing? So I guess all of you are not yet engineers, but I guess you can speak from the point of view of being enrolled in an engineering program. Okay, those who are taking the single degree programs, as well as those who have a little bit more free time taking, double majors or double degree programs, can sort of chime in to answer this question. So who would like to start first? Anybody don't shy. You start with the most strong one, maybe Jeremy.
Hello. As in like regarding the question, right? I think it's more of like your own personal expectations with regards to being an engineering student. So like, if let's say to you, you want to get like first class and everything, then confirm you put more work. I feel. You know what I mean? So it's like your own personal expectations, what you actually want to get out of the degree itself also, rather than the actual degree itself.
But I'm curious, anyone who come in here don't want first class one? Cannot be right.
I think first sem people will genuinely have very high expectations. Then after a few semesters, they'll kind of like mellow down, you know, once they realize like it's like their standard. But I know that certain engineering courses are very demanding, like some more than others. I would say like EEE, comp, and like I think Chem Eng is quite demanding in terms of syllabus also. Like the difficulty by itself is quite high. Yeah.
Okay. So EEE want to say something? EEE want to refute?
No, I agree. Okay, and then I think why people say engineering are more like technically busier than other schools is because we have both lab and tutorials and lectures. Whereas like other school might not have all that, but at the same time, the lab will get you ready for the workforce lah. So then again, it's back to like your expectations and what you want out of your uni life. As in, I think a lot of us still have our own student life per se, like I'm staying in hall, participating in other things. Yeah, and then as for yeah, so yeah, life is not all about grades. And then as for like second major, right? So second major, whether it's like more demanding or not, actually not really per se, like compared to like single degree. Yeah, because if you do well, I mean, all the best for your A-level results, but if you do well for your A-levels, which means you get A for like either physics or maths or those from poly, like if you get good grades, then you can apply for exemptions of modules. So that will free you from certain loads. And then technically you don't really need to take any elective if you have a second major. Yeah, that's how.
I think what Stella meant is that those elective courses which were meant to be free for you to choose something else to do are actually being taken up by your major requirements.
Yes.
So in a sense, you are killing two birds with one stone. Since you are pursuing a major, then might as well just use those credits towards getting courses, right? Getting the grades for that elective. Okay, what about single degree programs? Anybody feels that they're having a super easy time? Why shake head?
No, yeah. So single degree, right? Yeah, I won't say it's easy, but it's more like how I want to spend my time, how much I want to study, how much I want to play around. So I sleep about 8 hours a day, but so I wake up and do work, but I also play quite a lot of games. So it wasn't all exactly on work. So for me, that's how I like it. It really depends on how you prioritize and what you want to do in uni. Do you value your grades that much actually, or do you just want to like chill a bit? Yeah, it's quite okay.
So I guess it's probably about work-life balance, sort of juggling between how much effort, how much attention you want to give to your grades, and also how much you want to give to personal development. And I do know some of our panel members have other extracurricular activities. Maybe Devin want to share?
Throughout my 4 years, I've been taking part in school CAs as well. So coming from a double major background, I can assure you that definitely you will have time for all-rounded development. It's about how well you manage your time. So like maybe like allocate different hours per day to each thing you do so that you have a target to hit. Then after that, maybe you can like take a break. So that sort of plan is good for managing things well. Yeah.
How about the rest of Yao Xian or Kate? You want to say anything? I'm just curious. All of you except for Jeremy, who's in third year, and obviously, Kane, who is doing the internship right now. Have any one of you actually did internships that are voluntary? I mean, self-source. You want to share a little bit about that? How do you choose to go into that? Obviously, versus many other things that you could have done in your free time. So, who wants to share first? Stella and Jeremy, is it? The two of you have had voluntary internships? So maybe Stella, share, how do you decide that you want to do that versus other things?
Okay, so like in uni, you'll have a summer break, which is 3 months. Yeah, so it's really a break. I mean, like there's really like no homework because it's end of semester. Yeah, so there's like no holiday homework and whatsoever. So technically you're free for that 3 months. So yeah, I did an internship with one of the startups in Singapore, like yeah, for 3 months. And then yeah, it is, I mean, these kind of skills are the skills that companies nowadays are looking for. So I guess that's why. And it's not say like, you know, you do an internship and then you don't have time for other things. You still have time.
So I guess what I'm curious is what made you want to do an internship, since it's not really part of your curriculum? I mean, you could have done a part-time job somewhere else, or you know, have chilled out or went for a holiday, right? So why choose an internship?
I guess why internship is because there is there is a chance that you can continue with them like for full-time job and all. So that's one. And then of course building your resume and then the skills that like companies are looking for. Yeah, so those lah.
Okay, Jeremy?
For me, it's more of like the perspective of a double degree student. Cause like MSc and econs are very different disciplines, correct? So like I came to uni not really knowing as to like what this industry entail like and what kind of like jobs you can get out of these degrees also. So I think internship brings some as like a great chance for you all to like explore different options. Like what Stella mentioned, like summer is a 3 months break. So I don't think in uni you really need a 3 months break to recover from the semester lah. So like at most like maybe a few weeks, then go intern. Get some like legitimate exposure in the industry and what kind of jobs you can get, what kind of culture you're gonna experience if you go into that kind of like sector and stuff like that. Yeah. So like over the course of your degree, there's like 4 to 5 years. So and there are like quite a few summers. So like please make use of them properly. That's all I recommend.
Okay. Well, since we're on the topic of internship, there's only one person here who is really on the internship. She is actually in the office of her internship company. So maybe you want to share how you actually chose the company that you are working at. You know, what were you thinking of? You know, what are some of the options? You know, did you self-source them, or was it somebody who told you? Can you share a bit?
Continuing from the previous discussion of summer internship, right? So what I did for my first summer break was I really just like at home. I play games, I eat, then I sleep. And I really took like 3 months to not really recover, but like just 3 months just to gnaw at home. But I got tired after 1 month. Like what Jeremy said, I think 1 month is just nice, you know, just a good amount of time for you to recover from like the semester hard work. But because I already very sian at home, right? So the second year, which is last year, I was in my second year, right? So I tried to source for summer internship. Then I actually went to the interview. I had like a few online interviews. I was already accepted. I just need to get to my office to start working, right? But then COVID hit. So I unfortunately lost my opportunity to do that. But for this year, I'm not sure about the other sector, but for the built environment, it's quite hard because the government sector, they are not allowed to accept any internship. They really lost a lot of roles. Like a lot of people got retrenched, and it's not doing, like everyone is not doing that well. So for us, any opportunities that come first, we just take, just to make sure that we do have like an internship. There's a lot of engineering schools for this year. So for mine was, I just looked at the job scope, mainly what I wish to learn, and the roles and responsibilities. Because my role is as assistant engineer. So what I will be learning throughout these few months in this company, is it better? Do you want to go to like, I mean, for future undergrads, right? Do think about what you would like to learn during this 4 to 5 months of internship. What is the main thing that you want to learn from like the real industry? Like you have to compare between like the government sector, is it private, big companies, small firm, starting up companies. So do consider all these things, and do focus on what you really, really wish to learn. So yeah, I did source out quite a lot of companies, and there's also this portal called In Place, where you can actually look for the different roles or like the different placements that they actually have. So yeah, it's quite interesting. For me, I got it through In Place, but I did source out for a lot of companies. I have to like send resumes and emails. So I think yeah, that's for this year.
Okay, I guess for those of you who are not familiar, In Place is basically an online platform. It's a portal that is actually run by our Career Attachment Office. This is a office that actually takes care of all the internship placements for all of the students in NTU as well. And I think in engineering, the internship is actually regarded as one of the most important aspect of the training. So you either take it in the first semester of your third year, or the second semester of your third year. So it depends on your flexibility. What are some of the opportunities that are out there? And some internships are actually extremely competitive. So you do need to go for interviews. You actually do need to write proper resumes, and and it's not so easy to get your first choice. And I think nowadays employers also look beyond grades. I think just like what Stella has mentioned, I think everybody would have a good GPA. Everybody, has similar skills. So how do you actually stand out? Actually, other attributes that you may have. And those are some of the training that you would get by participating in extracurricular activities, leadership positions. Have you actually been involved in, teamwork? Have you actually been involved in, community service? And I think all of these different experiences that you bring to the, to the interview, whether through participating through projects or working on, stuff that is passionate about, that you're passionate about, are actually going to be very important as well. So of course, there's also another route, which is the self-source route, which I believe is sort of more, open in the sense that if you have a company in mind, of a company that's looking for interns, then you can obviously apply that and send your resumes, and that is sort of leaving it to, God's will, right? So I think there was a question on self-sourcing of the internship. Okay, so hopefully we've sort of answered that as well. So there's also some questions about how do you actually decide that you want to do engineering? So I think when I started this session today, I told you that I was sort of naively, I wouldn't say cheated, but I was sort of naively introduced to material science and engineering, because at that time, at 19 years old, they showed me, those fancy equipment, and wow, we actually went to look at how an ant, the head of an ant actually looks like under the scanning electron microscope. And that was like really, it really blew me away. And so I only chose material science, and I got into material science, and I actually never regretted. So thank you, the ants, for that. So I guess all of us are interested, to the student panel. How did you know about the engineering program? Was it some kind of an experience? Did you go for a workshop? Did somebody tell you in your dreams to choose whatever engineering discipline that you're supposed to choose? So maybe all of you can share what thought process you had in mind when you were deciding, what to do when you graduated from your JC, say 3 or 4 years ago. So who wants to start? Maybe who haven't really talked much. Yao Xian.
Okay, so for me, why I chose aerospace was because when I was choosing for my course, I was thinking like which industry should I go to, and then I was thinking that aviation is not a bad industry to go to, because there's always demand, and like it's a thriving industry. But then again, not for now lah, but 4 years ago it was relatively easy to get into aviation company if you get a degree. Yeah, so that's why I chose aerospace.
I guess what probably some of the students in this session may also be curious is, how do you zoom into aerospace? Surely there are a lot of different options, right? Not just in NTU, but also in other universities. So how do you, what were you really considering? How did you actually get your information, in deciding, okay, it has to be aerospace, and not like common engineering or, something else?
So for me, is I more or less already wanted to be involved, to do like aviation, like aerospace, aeroplanes related, like stuff. So that's why I lean more towards like aerospace or aeronautical. So I was considering between the aeronautical one in NUS and aerospace in NTU, which I applied for both. Yeah.
Okay, I was told that only NTU has the aerospace program. So maybe you can give a little brief, debunking of what is the difference between aerospace and aeronautical in the other university.
There isn't actually much difference per se, but then from what I heard from my friends in aeronautical in NUS is that their courses are more common, while compared to the aerospace in NTU is more, the module that we take are more specialized. Yeah, so I guess that's one of the key difference between the two courses between our schools.
So would you think that the modules in NTU actually prepare you a little bit better for what is to be expected, being trained in the aerospace industry as an engineer?
I would say like NTU, the modules for aerospace engineering are quite diverse. So like they teach you different aspects of engineering. So you can do maintenance, repair, overhaul. They teach you design also. So if you're into design, they cover that as well. They also teach like software related. So like engineering use a lot of design software, which is a compulsory kind of requirement to apply for jobs nowadays. So if you are into the software coding kind, is aerospace also cover that as well. So yeah, so for the 4 years courses in aerospace, they kind of cover all these aspects. So you can get a feel of what you want to go. Cause engineering, even in aviation industry, there are many different kinds of engineer. So throughout these 4 years, I think when you do, you kind of feel you are stronger in which area, then you might want to lean towards that.
So I guess there's more of a specialization which you can embark on, and I do believe most of the programs out there have different specializations which is offered to the third year students. So when they go on to the fourth year, they may choose to take certain modules to sort of give them extra training or extra knowledge in a particular area. So that is specialization. Okay, so how about someone else in the panel? We want to share, how did you actually decide which engineering to take? How about CEE? I think conventionally, civil engineering has a particular stereotype. So how did you decide that CEE is for you?
I think since young, and I think a majority of the reason is that my dad is also a civil engineer, so there's always this sort of heavy influence from him. But since young, I've always looked at buildings, like it's a very weird little childhood dream, but look at buildings like, wow, so nice. How do they build these such tall skyscrapers? And how are they so different? Yeah. So I've always been very interested to like build, not really like the built environment mainly. So I think that's how actually, fun fact, after my first A-level results, I was a lost child, so I did not know where I'm supposed to go. I looked at engineering, I looked at business, I looked at everything else, but I was really, really lost for right. I went to the open house, so do come to open house, guys. I went to the open house, but I was very lost because I was really not sure where I wanted to go. Technically, the course that you're going to study for your undergraduate is going to sort of decide to a certain extent your life is like as an engineer or like a business person or finance, right? So I was very, very confused. I was super scared that I might make a wrong choice or like a wrong turn in life. So I actually took a gap year just to make sure that okay, the decision I'm gonna make is gonna be this. So I'm not encouraging you guys like everyone to take gap year. No, it's just my experience. Okay, so I did take a gap year, and that's when I finally know that okay, I really want to go to the built environment, even though there's very little girls or like it's more of like the guys industry kind. But this is really what I wanted to do for a really long period of my life, and I wouldn't have any regrets or anything that the environment so hot, why stay in the sun, right, that kind of thing. So it's really just please go for your interest. Don't get influenced by whatever other things, but really focus on interest, because only with your interest then you will be more willing to work towards your goals, and you have the specific goals that you wish to achieve. So that's what I feel like. Yep.
Okay, so follow your passion, guys.
Yep.
All right. How about SCSE, Jiaying? How did you decide computer engineering? I think a lot of students nowadays are very interested in computer science, computer engineering. So at that time when you were a student, looking to apply to a university, what was going through your mind? How did you choose computer engineering?
Disclaimer is com science, but okay. For me, it's more chill. I just didn't like humans. Not really a fan of like business, accounting. I've always been more engineering wise, and I like the idea of like computing, com science. So I'm just like, okay, I will come here. So that was it.
Okay. How about Devin? How do you choose your course?
Okay, back then, there was this hype around like getting into medicine amongst everyone in my school. So I was one of them. But then after thinking for a long time, right, because apparently you need to study for 10 years and then residency period and all that in order to actually start practicing medicine. Then I figured there was another alternative where you can make like even greater impact along the medicine lines, which is to produce medical devices. Yeah, and this will actually impact a lot more people than directly operating on people. Yeah, that's why I went into biomedical engineering and pharmaceutical engineering.
That's a second major program, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what Devin is doing is actually bioengineering or biomedical? You're doing BIE, bioengineering.
Biomedical engineering. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a double. So that's a second major program where you really specialize in devices for biomedical applications. So in terms of the biology side of things, there is also the pharmaceutical engineering major. Okay, there's obviously the biomedical as well. So you can either take that from the School of Chemical and Biomedical Engineering, or you can take that with the material science and engineering as well. So these are two possible options if you are thinking about the second majors in the biology area. Okay, who else did I miss? Stella? How do you choose electrical engineering?
Okay, so like in JC, I did some projects that involve electronics and like coding per se. So like why electrical and not, so like how I see it is the view of spectrum from hardware to fully software. So the fully hardware, I mean, okay, now of course it's quite like interdisciplinary, but generally like the most hardware will be in mechanical, and then triple E will have like sort of 60% hardware, 40% software, and then SCSE like science is the one with like fully software per se lah. But of course nowadays our projects are like very interdisciplinary. Yeah, so I wanted something broad, like something that allow me to have what triple E say, or like what triple E always say, like 1 degree, a world of opportunities. Yeah, so that's how I chose triple E and plus business. So like technically I can go anywhere I want. Yeah.
Okay. So last but not least, Jeremy, you chose the toughest option of doing 2 degrees. So what was going through your head?
Actually, it's more of like I couldn't really make up whether I wanted more of engineering or economics in a sense. Cause like I got quite a variety of interests, but then it's not like I can pursue engineering and still end up going to economics later on. So I kind of took both off. I would say like when deciding what degrees or what kind of like combinations to take, also consider like the opportunities that the degrees can offer, and also where do these opportunities come from. So sometimes, right, let's say for MSc, right, let's say you like engineering, then you like the kind of projects that they do. But you must also be aware that for MSc, a lot of opportunities come from like research type of industries rather than engineering also. So these kind of things you need to know before you actually like choose your degree and everything lah. Yeah, so for me it's mostly like I really don't know like what kind of like career I might want to pursue in future. So I just kind of like took this as a so I can like have more time to explore in uni as well. Because I think as GC students, right, you don't really have a chance to like really get to know a lot of industries, like from perspective of just a GC student. So like I think in uni, if you have the opportunity to try like a second major in business or economics, if you're not really aware of what you want, I think it's a viable option for you also. But it's like but if you end up taking just one, it doesn't mean that you kind of like forsake the other in a sense. I think like let's say for my combination, if you go into engineering, you can still jump to other industries also, simply because you got like a certain background in economics in a sense. It's like keeping options open.
Okay, I think in general, when when you take an engineering degree, regardless of the discipline, what you really will walk away at the end of your 4 years or 5 years is really the training of you being able to analyze things, your analytical thinking, critical thinking, your problem solving skills. Whether or not you have some business, economics, or even a specialized biomedical engineering sort of knowledge or expertise, I think that just adds to broaden your choices in terms of the jobs and the careers that may be available to you. And I think now we live in a climate where nobody can really guarantee that there will be a certain type of jobs that are available. I mean, look at COVID, right? So it can bring something completely vibrant, crashing to its knees, and nobody would have expected that. I mean, just 2 years ago. So I think what we want to really highlight is versatility. And I think that is where engineers are most valuable. Of course, we would like engineers to continue working in engineering, but it is not to say that, we will be very sad if engineers get put into high-paying banking jobs, right? Like Stella, or to really just use their analytical thinking to develop something cool, like a new material, a new, technology, or even just coming out and set up your own business. I think that is where you will find a lot of engineering graduates end up with. So, that being said, there isn't like a particular career choice that engineers all have to go to, and that is where I think is the valuable part of an engineering degree, regardless of which route you decide to take. Now, I think there are some questions that's geared towards common engineering, and I guess rightfully so, because this session was really more to help whoever that's sort of thinking about engineering but still not so clear which one to choose, and as all kiasu Singaporeans, I want to make sure that I keep all my options open. I want to take everything, make sure I don't get left out of any choices. So should I be actually choosing common engineering, or should I actually just now take a risk and choose aerospace or chemical engineering? So what would I actually want to know, okay, that differentiates between common engineering and choosing the discipline? Now, I think in general for common engineering, when you come into NTU as a common engineering student, which there is a program like that, you would actually have the chance to really pick or sort of try out the 6 engineering schools. In the sense that you will actually get exposure in, civil engineering, you get, some exposure in electrical engineering, computing, chemical and bioengineering, and so on. And I think at the end of your first year, you do have to pick something. So you can think of the common engineering as sort of a starting ground where you do some general courses and you sort of get a chance to, seek out and see and test which one you like before you make the decision. But bear in mind, I think for common engineering, there are limitations to the fields, to the programs that you can enter to. For example, if you're thinking of taking, a double degree program, so that has to be sort of chosen at the admissions. You cannot just come into common engineering and then now want to do a double degree program or a second major and things like that. Now, I think some of you may also have heard that starting next year, we are going to launch some common foundation courses. There are a total of about 7 different courses which are going to be offered to all NTU students. So regardless of whether you're in engineering and business, arts, and so on, you will have to take these common foundational courses. And I think the idea here is to really promote interdisciplinary interaction. So even if you're taking a course, say in digital world, okay, which is all about IT and things like that, you will have the opportunity to mingle with students, not just from engineering, not just from your own discipline, but also from students in the art stream, the humanities streams, the science stream. And I think the whole point of NTU education has sort of evolved to a point where we do not only want just engineers to talk to each other. And it's very boring, right? Because everybody thinks the same. But then when you start to interact with people from LKC, medicine, people from science, people from arts, or business, right? These people are obviously trained very differently, so they will actually offer very interesting perspective. And if you actually work together in a group that is very interdisciplinary in nature, the sort of outcomes that you're going to expect is also going to be very different. So I think, when you guys come into the university, the education that you're going to expect may be quite different than our student and, panel over here. Let's just say, I think it's going to be more exciting. You get a little bit more mingling, of course, with social distancing. Right now, we're having virus still, right? But you're going to expect that your experiences are going to be quite different. So I think it's going to be an exciting time, regardless of whether you decide to choose one engineering program in the admission exercise or you want to come in as a common engineering student. I think all of these different opportunities will still be there for you, which is going to be exciting as well. Okay, do we miss out any questions? Anybody have anything extra to say? Something that you feel passionate about? Okay, there's a question. If I didn't take biology, can I take bioengineering? I guess that's meant for Devin. And you already answered, right? You can, right? So is it difficult if you didn't have biology?
I think it requires quite a lot of biological knowledge, but there are foundational courses that recaps on it. So don't really have to worry, because there are actually quite a lot of people inside who don't really take biology before. Yeah.
Okay. How about the question on what is this? Do common engineering students study an additional year? No, they actually do 4 years. Unless you take an extra degree like Jeremy, that's where you get 5 years. Even if you take a second major like Devin, you actually also still spend 4 years. So the only exception is if you take 2 degrees, then obviously, you know, humans are limited, right? You need more time, right, to get 2 degrees. So you basically get to walk the convocation twice. So that's kind of a perk on that for spending the extra 1 year. Not sure if that's really a perk. What else do we have? Any other questions? How much time must you commit to studies if you take double major as opposed to a single major? So I guess that is a question for those who have the double major program. How much time do you study? Or never study?
I think for specifically to pharmaceutical engineering, I'm not sure about the other courses, but it's definitely quite a lot more time because of the chem engineering courses. Yeah, and it's like additional 30 AUs, which is like might be equivalent to 1.5 semester of courses in addition, and it's still 4 years. Yeah.
So good deal, right? Stella, do you have to study a lot?
It depends on which semester. So I wanted to like squeeze so-called like overload in the first 2 years so that year 3 and year 4 I have more time for random things. Yeah. So my first 2 years I have like 20 over AUs every semester. So that's definitely more. And then yeah, same as what Devin said, it really depends on the module itself. I have like 1 semester full of project modules, and that's definitely more work for like project modules, meaning like the gradings aren't based on exams, but instead based on like a project. So business courses tend to be project heavy. So like every few weeks you have like 1 presentations and all that. Yeah, so that definitely need more preparations. Not saying that exams don't need preparations, but yeah.
Okay, well, I think all of you who are attending this session came from JC. So I'm just curious, I guess, as a JC student myself also, right? You may be curious as to how is your classes like compared to when you were in JC. You know, obviously in JC is a very structured kind of a program, right? So when you hear about nasty myth stories about what happens in the universities, you know, is it really true? You know, how is it like when you first started, studying? How did you actually adjust yourself to the kind of pace and to the kind of format in which university classes are actually being conducted? Who would like to answer that? Was it scary? Nobody want to say anything? Not scary, Came in, breezed through, after 4 years still breeze through. I think in the first year, a lot of you guys came in with expectations. Maybe all of you were like top students in your own JC. And then when you take this particular course, and then it's the first time you got a C or C minus, how were you thinking? What were you thinking? Don't tell me nobody got C minus before. At least a CA got fail? Have? Anybody want to share? Jiaying, you're the most chill one.
Okay. So it really took quite some time since the concepts are new. So I think, let's say usually it's about 2 to 3 months. And that's why it took for me to get used to it. Yeah, but I know people that actually started like hardcore studying since the start, but I don't recommend that because it's very easy to burn out, especially since from JC to uni, there's a lot of new things, new people, new situation. You will get burnt out if you actually like try to go all in at the same time. So I will just say that it's actually quite different for sure, since like one of the most it's actually okay, it's actually quite different. I would say it's quite different. Like even in terms of like normal everyday life, right? For school, we can always just wear our school uniform, just like that, and just go out. So for uni, and a lot of things to consider. And yeah, it's quite different. It will take time to get used to it, but eventually it will be okay. You will manage fine. Yeah. And in
Okay.
terms of school, right? Because last time, yeah. So should I go down?
Sure.
Okay, let me just carry. Yeah. Okay, so last time you had to go for lecture, tutorial, right? So for uni, some school have recorded lecture, and well, I don't recommend you guys to not go. I personally, I don't go for lectures. Yeah, I
Why?
only watch the recorded lecture. It's more efficient for me to watch online because I can like look back, pause, fast forward. It's more productive for me. So that's one thing I like about uni.
You like, sorry, my lights went out. So you like about uni because there's recorded lectures.
Kind of. Yeah, I get very bored in like class, so I really need the break to walk around and like pause to process. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Anybody have the same sentiments? I actually have not met anyone who don't like recorded lectures, actually.
I think the
Devin,
key
you
thing
have something to say, right?
the key thing is to be adaptable to your own strengths. Like basically if you cannot pay attention for like 2 hours while sitting down, right? Then maybe online lectures would be a better answer. But then for tutorials, if you need physical lessons to actually learn faster, right? Then you can choose to go for it. So basically just adapt your own strengths to what the school offers. Yeah.
Okay, wait, before you continue on this recorded lecture topic, let me put a disclaimer first. Now, I think the point of the recorded lecture is to really help to supplement learning, because sometimes, I'm not saying for myself, right? But I'm just saying in general, some people may talk very fast, some people may talk very slowly, and some people may just, assume that you know something and move very, very fast. So I think the point of the recorded lecture is to really just have a safety net, if you would call it, that you sort of do not miss out anything. Of course, we are, giving full sympathy to people who may not be able to make it for the lectures for whatever reason that they can be giving. But what I'm trying to say is that it is sort of a way for you to be able to catch up. If for some reason that you have decided to miss the lectures, even as early as, I don't know, 1:30 p.m. Okay, so I think that is really something that is helpful. But I do think that, university education is not only about taking information, and I think information you can get anywhere, in the internet, you can read your own books, but it's also through the interactions when you teach somebody else, when you present your answers and you share your answers, and then that person actually learns even more by, teaching somebody else. So I think there's a lot of benefit in, coming to class face to face, to interact with your friends, to interact with your professors, and to really learn things that you would not have expected by just sitting at home watching YouTube videos, right? So I guess that is my point of view as a teacher. Obviously very different than students, and you wish that you have recorded everything so you can sleep all day long, right? That's good, right? Okay. And that's not what you can do in JCs, right? I don't believe JCs have recorded anything. Am I right? Yeah, so see, another perk to come to NTU. Anybody else want to share about your experience about studying in NTU? What do you like about NTU, or your school the most?
I also had another point about the record lecture thing, right? Is that
yes,
not all faculties actually record their lectures. As in now it's COVID, so every faculty does. But for economics, right, in my first year, technically there's no record lecture at all. So you must
then
attend.
how? Is that better?
Attend, as in, it'd be good if there's lectures also like record lectures so you can see what you missed out and everything after the thing has finished, or you want to recap your content is also good. Yeah. Then also another part about the for those who are coming in, right, like for first year, I think one of the things I learned from year one is that it's important to pace yourself. Yeah, because I think the main difference from uni and JC, right, is that like JC, your main goal is A levels, correct? So all the tests you do, right, from like the start of JC to the end of it doesn't really matter until you mark and really get the A grade for the A levels. But then for uni, there's a lot of other components. Like your C starts to matter. There's class participation, there's projects, there's all these kind of things. So when you plan your schedule for your semesters, right, do take note of all these things and make sure that you do not have like a period of time when you're like clustered with a lot of CAs, clustered with a lot of projects at the same time, so that you can actually plan your time better and like manage it eventually. Because like for some modules, right, although it looks like it's just maybe like 3 AUs, but you must also look at the deliverables they need to produce under that 3 AUs also. Like let's say for engineering, some of the modules is like 1 finals, 2 CAs, which is like the typical engineering module lah. But then got some, right, it's like got class participation, term paper, projects, presentation along with finals also. So you need to take note of that before you like decide which mods to take percent. So you can like pace yourself properly. And that kind of like comes in together with like your other commitments, like whether you want to join CCAs or like hall stuff as well. Yeah, I think that's very important. If not, you'll really burn out. Whether you like it or not.
Anybody else want to add something?
I want to add something. Talking about this like online lectures, burning out and all that, I think the most important thing is to like, have friends in your school. Like have friends together to like study together to like pace, so-called pace each other lah. So technically in university, like there's no structure per se that you will meet the same set of people in every class. In fact, I never really meet anyone in the same class unless you really like plan to do it. So a bit of promo. So yeah, join orientations. I think like wherever school you end up in, like even non-engineering schools, I think it would be good to like join orientation to sort of like have your own sort of clique of friends, because after school start you will really never really meet like a set of people, especially now it's like a lot of like online tutorials and then everything is through Zoom, so technically you never really meet anyone. Yeah, so it will be quite sad if you like fall apart on your own kind of thing. So yeah, join orientations.
Yeah. I actually do want to support that promotion. I think it's important for you guys before you come into NTU, whichever degree that you decide to choose, to actually have some friends, because I think they will be your support network. And I think all of you, when you came in there, were also quite clueless. Like you didn't know, which course has the scariest professor, which course damn difficult, very difficult exam, which course I must be careful, I go to tutorials, must take down notes, So I think having a network of friends who are your support, to go to the canteen and chill out 1 hour before the next next class start. And I think joining orientation camp is also good because you also get to know seniors. If you join the ones from the school, then you also know the year 2, the year 3, the year 4s, who have already been through the first year, and so they can offer you advice as to what to avoid, what you must take note of. So I think that is very important when getting started into the university. Obviously, there's also orientation camps that is meant for hall as well. So for those of you who are interested to join in, to stay in the hall residences, then that is also one way to make friends, because when you're living there, it's quite scary. When you're alone, you're independent, you don't know where I should go and wash my clothes, that kind of thing. Which canteen food is the nicest or not nice? So I think you do want to have that sort of initial group of friends that you can gel with. And like I said, I think now we are moving towards more of interdisciplinary form of education. So, those group of friends that you can associate with, during the hall time could actually, come together, take part in competitions, can join projects that are sort of outside curriculum. So I think all of these different things are what sort of made university life quite vibrant, I would think. So anybody have any other questions? I hope we have sort of answered everything. We are just kind of going all over the place because, we're just chit-chatting, right? So I don't see any new questions, I guess, except for the one to say, year 2, year 3, year 4 for common engineering more content pack. Okay, I think you're asking about if you join common engineering program from the beginning, then do you have to do more stuff in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th year? I think that is where you actually stream into your normal, whatever engineering discipline that you choose. So you'll basically be on track with the rest of your classmates. It's just that in the first year, first semester, you actually get to sample a little bit of a different engineering. I think that's pretty much it. In short, you will actually graduate at the same time as everybody else in that particular engineering discipline that you have chosen. But bear in mind that if you choose common engineering, then you will not be able to take on second majors, second degrees and things like that. Okay. Anybody have any other questions? If not, then we have unknowingly been talking for an hour. So time flies, right?
Sorry.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, sorry. Just I posted a question earlier in the info session, which was geared toward common engineering. Like, you said that common engineering, the first year, they get exposed to the different disciplines, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this exposure, is it just like a very introductory level one to just give you a sense of what the discipline is before you decide in year 2?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, obviously you have to take some subjects which are sort of common in a sense, like physics, mathematics, and things like that. I think I'm not very completely sure about what is the actual courses that you have to, what modules you actually have to take in those. But I think Stella has written a link where you can actually check out what are the courses that you can, I mean, what are the modules that you would take in the first year. Okay, so basically you get a sense of what each of the engineering course is about, and then you will actually choose to specialize in that particular discipline. So it is not to say that you will be common forever. So at some point you will still have to choose. You're basically only buying like a semester's worth of time. So I hope that answers your question. Of course, the other perk about choosing a specific engineering program from the beginning is that you will start to make friends which are eventually going to see for the rest of the 4 years. So you actually start doing all the specialized training much earlier. And like I said, there are limitations to what are the courses that you can eventually choose in common engineering. So for example, you won't be able to go into computer science and computer engineering if you choose common engineering. So things like that. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I hope we didn't miss out everything. Anybody? Common engineering program, common engineering students won't have to spend more time to complete the course. Like I said, they will actually just continue and join those who are already in that degree program, so that they will still graduate in 4 years with whatever program discipline that they have chosen. And there was a question about elective. Do students get to allocate when they want to do their elective? Do you plan your own schedule? Is there a timetable? I think in general, there will be a portion of courses which are core, meaning to say that they are compulsory. You won't be able to opt out unless you do get exemptions, depending on which background you come from, you know. But in general, there will be a huge percentage of courses that are core modules, which you have no way to get around it. Even if you fail, you have to continue to take them again semester after semester. But there's a small percentage of electives which you can choose to take it at whichever time you want, from whichever program you want. So it's also not restricted to engineering. I've heard of students take, I think most popular is psychology, of course business. There are also students who take things like Chinese language, music, you know, I mean anything, you know. And I think the number of programs that the number of electives that we have is just way too many to choose from. So that is also why you need to come and join some camp or whatever to get insights from your seniors, which is the hottest, most popular GE, general electives that you must take, which one has the longest wait list, which one is the easiest to get A+, things like that. These are the tips that you need, that is obviously not going to be offered in the curriculum. So that is where you get the social network, the importance of the network to be able to gear and cruise through your 4 or 5 years of engineering life in NTU. Okay, so I think that brings us kind of the end. Maybe we end off by having our student panel just say one last piece of advice to whoever is thinking to applying to engineering. So let's just make it quick, one-liner. Okay, 2 if you want to. Advice for our students who are going to apply this year. Let's start from Stella.
Okay, so just now was a promo on orientation, right? So that is after you come to school. So before you come to school, you need to decide which courses to come. So this is the second promo online. So this Saturday will be our open house. So even though it's virtual, I think it's still very interactive. There are still a lot of this kind of sessions. So if you're interested in any particular courses, then yeah, do sign up for the links. And then I believe that now a lot of people are very free. So just go for a lot of talks. And then, okay. And then there's a promo part and then the actual, okay. And then I would like to just say that, not all those wonder are lost. So if you are feeling lost now, I think everybody feel lost. And we are constantly lost. So yeah, just have faith and take that leap. And then even though you sort of there's no really a wrong choice, you can always pick and turn anytime. So yeah, just chill and all the best for A-level results.
Okay, Jeremy?
Basically, just find out more before you decide. And like, I hope today has been a fruitful session for everybody. So like, all the best for results. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Thanks. Kane?
If you're lost, just come for open house.
This Saturday.
No, you know why? Because that's the best opportunity for you to ask as many questions as you want. Like for now, right, it's very limited to 1 hour, and it's only about like the few of us saying. But for open house, you really get to explore everything, and you can ask anybody, everybody. So just come for open house, and all the best for your results. Yay!
Like a piece of advice, is it?
Hmm.
For me, I took 1 year to learn, but throughout my 4 years, I learned that if consistency is a good thing to practice, like having a routine to follow so that you don't feel burnout and everything. Yeah, and also set expectations so you can try out the first semester, then see where you are at, like your standard, and then work around it. Like plan your time and schedule on what you expect to achieve.
Okay. Jia-Yin?
So I would say what I learned the most in uni is that you have to accept that you're just gonna be average. Not everyone's gonna be that good. No, they are not gonna be the top at anything. Sometimes you're just like average, and I think it's okay. Yeah, just slow down and enjoy the process.
Okay. Last wise words from Devin.
Okay. Since everyone have covered the open house and yeah, so my tip will be like, okay, for those who aiming to like come in and straight away get first class or that, right? For your first sem, right, try to get make your GPA as high as possible so that from then on there's a buffer for you to like slowly scale down. Rather than most of my friends, right, they took the first sem trying to adapt and didn't really put enough effort into time management. So it kind of caused their GPA to be stuck at some level, and it became very hard for them to go up from there. Yeah. So
Okay.
other than this, yeah, like Yao Xian said, pacing, time management, all these things that are not really taught in school, but you learn it in school is very important. Yeah.
Okay. I guess my advice is to get as many A's as possible. There's no such thing as too many A's, right? Okay. I'm not sure if Shirley is going to flash the slide for the open house. Okay, I guess so. This is the grand final of this session. And Shirley is going to share her screen, which shows you 2 QR codes, which I guess you can scan while I keep on talking, to join us at the open house this Saturday, 20th February. Okay, so it's obviously going to be virtual, but I think we also do have talks which you can sign up for that spans across a period of time. So they are talks that are organized by the individual engineering schools where you can actually go down to the labs, to interact with the professors, the students, and to really find out more about the course, the programs, okay, before you really decide which program to apply for. So I guess I'm also supposed to talk about the feedback form, is it, Shirley?
It's okay, I can talk about that.
Okay, so then Shirley will talk about the feedback form.
Yeah, so it's just a 1 minute survey form to find out how well or how bad or how well we have done for this sharing session. So we hope that we can gather your input so that we can improve for future sessions like this. Then like our students have shared, right? Yeah, very important is the open house this Saturday. You can sign up for tours, and for tours, right, the slots are limited due to the safe management measures. So please register early, and yeah, we hope to see you this Saturday. Yeah, and if you have any other questions, right, feel free to email us at outreach-coe@ntu.edu.sg, and we will try to get back to you as soon as we can.
Okay, yeah. And I guess we're also on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah, please follow us.
And obviously we have our conventional website where if you're interested to find out more about the different programs, what are the requirements, what are the courses that you actually take when you sign up for those degree programs, so you can check those out as well. So I guess that brings us to the end of today's session. And would like to really thank the student ambassadors for spending the 1 hour sharing with all of you their experiences, okay, throughout their NTU life. And also thank you all for joining us. And hopefully we have managed to answer some of the questions that you guys may have. And again, last promo, see you guys this Saturday for the NTU open house. So thank you and have a good evening, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.